Hello guys, my last video, the Aryan question, was little bland, technical and complicated. So in this video, I will try my best to simplify the concept of race and how scientifically wrong the whole idea is. Hello everyone, this is Pranav and you're watching Pravyap Now, and today I'm going to talk about the whole idea of race. So I will try to explain the whole idea of race through a modern example, a hypothetical example. So let's get started. So suppose Mr. T is a Tamilian man living in Tamil Nadu. He has a Tamil wife, he is culturally Tamil and he speaks the Tamil language. He has 5 children, and just for the sake of simplicity with the Y chromosome DNA, let's assume all his children are male. So the eldest child migrates to Germany. He marries a local German woman and he has a German son, a half German son with her. Similarly, Mr. T's second child migrates to say Nigeria and he marries a local Nigerian woman and he has a half Nigerian child who is also a male, and similarly, just like that, his third son migrates to Japan. He marries a local Japanese woman and has a half Japanese child. His fourth child migrates to say Mexico and marries a local Mexican woman and has a half Mexican child. All these grandsons of Mr. T, although they are first cousins of each other, they look very different from each other because they are racially very distinct from each other. Similarly, their language, their background, their culture, it's very different from each other, although they are first cousins. Now let's fast forward the time and see what happens 30 years from this point. All these grandchildren of Mr. T have grown up. All of them have married local women and they all have sons, which are great grandsons of Mr. T. As they all are male descendant of Mr. T, they all will have the same white DNA in them. They will carry the same DNA, but they will look racially very different from each other, and they will be culturally different from each other. Now, the son of the Japanese settler, he has changed his surname from the original, whatever their surname was, to say Otaku or Gaijin, as he was referred by the local people. All these second cousins meet one day. They have a good chat, and the German guy, or say the Mexican guy, asks the descendant of the Japanese guy, what is his surname? The Japanese guy says, oh, my surname is Gaijin. The Mexican guy assumes that his second cousin is a Gaijin, so maybe my ancestors were also Gaijin, and so he starts calling himself Gaijin. Although technically Gaijin was never their original surname. Now similarly, the same thing happened with the word Aryan. The Germans started calling themselves Aryan, although ancestors of German or Greek or Celtic or say Armenians or Slavic or Baltic never called themselves Aryan. There is no epigraphical evidence of it. The only 2 branches of Indo-Europeans which call themselves Aryans are Indians and the Iranians. Genetically, all these descendants of Mr. T share the same Y DNA, but their autosomal DNA is very diverse, and they all look racially different from each other. So you cannot say, okay, this is Aryan and this is not Aryan, or this is a race, this is a mixed race, or this is something else. There is no concept of race when it comes to science. We all are result of genetical evolution. And so when you say, okay, Aryans were white people, they might have been white, but you cannot say the word Aryan means white. So in this way, there is no race as such. We all are result of genetical mixture right from the ancient times, where the Yamnayas were tan people with blue eyes who mixed with the native hunter-gatherer of Europe and became white, and their descendant mixed with some other race, and their descendant mixed with some other race, and in this way we have racial diversity. I hope this explains the situation a little better than the whole technical stuff I did in the last video. If you still want to check out what technical stuff I discussed, you can check that out, and also you can subscribe to Pravyap now for more videos on history, mythology, fiction and culture. This is Pranav signing off. Tada!